Hi everyone, and thanks for joining me today for another episode of Gold Wingnut Live. Each week I answer your questions about things happening in Sumter County and the villages. These weekly broadcasts and the construction update videos I produce are two of the ways I bring information to you about the construction happenings here in the villages. At Gold Wingnut Productions, I also provide a photo video service for new homes under construction. If you're building a new home in the villages and you need someone to watch the construction for you and send you regular updates, then contact me through my website, goldwingnut.com, and arrange for a photo video package for your new home. I've nearly 20 years in the construction industry as a project manager, and in the last 6 years, Gold Wingnut Productions has provided this valuable service to over 300 homeowners. I know the work the various trades are doing, and I know when the work's being done right and when it's not. I'm not just taking pictures like some others do. I'm watching your home build with a trained eye to help ensure everything is done right. So go to goldwingnut.com and arrange your package today. Now let's get started with the show.
On the mic today is Maya, a rescue with a powerful story.
Hi, I'm Maya, and my story's a little different.
Maya, what was life like before your human found you?
I was forgotten, hungry most days, nights on cold concrete. I thought no one would ever come.
No dog should ever feel invisible.
And then did someone finally come for you?
Yes, she knelt down, looked me in the eyes, and I felt safe for the first time. Like I finally mattered.
Bet you destroyed that first real meal.
Like it was the only one I'd ever get.
What's life like today, Maya?
I have a bed, a family, walks in the park. I don't have to be afraid anymore. I finally get to just be a dog.
Bet you've claimed the couch already.
Yeah. But not every dog gets that chance, do they?
No, there are still so many like me, waiting, cold, hungry, hoping someone will see them like she saw me.
No dog should ever have to beg for love or wonder if they're worth it.
Frenchie's right. No dog should ever wonder if they're worth it. Maya, the world failed you before, but it will not again.
Maya, if you could say one thing to the world, what would it be?
Every rescue matters, because behind every set of eyes is a heart that just wants to be loved.
So God made a dog. God said, I need somebody willing to wake up, give kisses, pee on a tree, sleep all day, wake up again, give more kisses, then stay up until midnight basking in the glow of a television set. God said, I need somebody willing to sit, then stay, then roll over, then with no ego or complaint dress in hats they don't need and costumes they don't understand. Somebody who, no matter what you didn't do or couldn't take or didn't win or couldn't make, will love you without judgment just the same. So God made a dog. God said, I need somebody strong enough to pull sleds and find bombs, yet gentle enough to love babies and lead the blind. Somebody who will spend all day on a couch with a resting head and supportive eyes to lift the spirits of a broken heart. It had to be somebody who'd remain patient and loyal, even through loneliness. Somebody to care, cuddle, snuggle and nuzzle and cheer and charm and snore and slobber and eat the trash and chase the squirrels. Somebody who would bring a family together with the selflessness of an open heart. Somebody who would bark and then pant and then reply with rapid wag of tail when their best friend says, let's go for a ride in the car. So God made a dog.
Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Gold Wingnut Live. I'm your host, Don Wiley, and we're going to talk about the things that you want to talk about and some of the things that I got planned just in case nobody has anything they want to talk about. Today's sponsor is Shade Masters USA. They do all kinds of blinds and shades for your home, whether it's the outside ones for the garage, for the lanai, the inside ones for the windows. They do them all. Give them a call. Let's see, what else? Oh, yeah. We have other sponsors today, of course. Magic Stairs is, as always, Surf to Turf home inspections, kitchen-wise and closet-wise. They do a great job on your cabinets and your closets. Country Village Power Equipment, and of course, Fern Away. So, I guess we have a few dog lovers. If you can't tell, I am a dog lover. I love my dogs, Lily and Sully, dearly. You know, I can't, how? They stole my heart. Where's the mustache? Yeah, it went away this morning. I got tired of it. It's like, man, it just itches. So, but anyway, it is what it is. I decided to not stick with it anymore. Anyway, so did anybody go to the charter school football game on Friday night? I went. Exciting first half. They it was what, 41 or 43. I think it was, yeah, 40. I think it was 41-0 at the half. And when they came back after halftime, they made an announcement that because it was basically such a landslide, that they wouldn't stop the clock except for timeouts and for injuries. So, you know, normally after, you know, the ball is down, you know, it goes out of bounds or something like that, they stop the clock. They didn't. So the last half of the game flew by. It took about 30 minutes for the last 24 minutes of the game. But it was a good time. I encourage you to go. They played Wildwood. Wildwood struggled, sad to say. They were much better last year. I don't know what happened. The Village's charter school was just devastating to them on Friday. And then next week they're playing here again. They're playing Lecanto, which is over in, I don't know, whatever county it is. Citrus County, I think, is to the west of us. It's funny because I go to Lecanto every other month for county meetings. Anyway, Mike wants to know, have Lily and Sully gone to Sophie Doodles? Yeah, they actually went the first day it was open. They've been there 3 or 4 times now. If I get over to the house early enough, instead of doing a 4-mile walk, I now take them over to Sophie Doodles, and they enjoy it. They've run into a couple other dogs that they've gotten to know, and yeah, Sully is just his crazy self. But there you go. So what I had on the agenda, well, I got a joke for you. What do Jacksonville Jaguars and the post office have in common? Yeah, neither one delivers on Sunday. Holy mackerel. They got slaughtered again. So anyway, so Happy Go Lucky says, have you watched the recent video of a realtor who lives in New York making it a point to target and verbally assault you? What is with that? I don't think he's worth the time. He's upset because I called him out for putting out negative nonsense about our community, and you know, he's trying to make it political. My comments have nothing to do with my political office. I may use the knowledge I have gained in my political office, as I will today, when we talk about the trim notice, to help inform you, my viewers. But you know, he tried to insinuate that I'm on the payroll of the developer and things like that, and nothing could be farther the truth. I have a lot of respect for the developer, but they know that I'm going to do what's in the best interest of Sumter County by themselves. So that's all I'm going to say about this guy. So yeah, trim notices are coming out. I stopped by the mailbox today on the way over to the house, and sure enough, our trim notice was in there. I'd already seen it online. So I'm going to go over the trim notice because many people don't know what a trim notice is. I don't know if it's unique here in Florida. I've never seen one. I mean, I've owned a house in Memphis, well, not Memphis, Bartlett, Tennessee, a suburb of Memphis, and I don't ever remember seeing one there. That was the first house I ever owned. But they are coming out, and you should, if you don't have it by now, you will have it. So I've got 3 examples. One of somebody who currently owns a house here in the Villages. One of somebody who owns a house in Sumter County. I'll show you the differences between there. And another one of a new home, and how it dramatically changes that first new tax year. And we'll go over all that together. One of the things coming up is we have a special election coming up. I'll pull up the Supervisor of Elections website, and I'll show you the information so you know about voting in that. And of course, coming up is Thanksgiving. Myself and Commissioner Jeff Bogue of we're doing all the fire stations in Sumter County. Jeff is handling all the fire stations outside of the Villages, and I'm coordinating Thanksgiving dinner for the firefighters, all the firefighters and fire stations here in the Villages. We're using a different approach, but if you'd like to make a cash contribution or credit card, whatever, you'll see on the screen as we go through 2 different QR codes. This one is for Sumter County Fire EMS. There's another one for VPSD. Whichever one you'd like to donate to, that's fine. If you want to donate to both and just make one contribution, just put a note in there. Just say it's for both, and I'll split it evenly between the 2. So let's see. Happy Go Lucky says, I get to the right part of the screen. It's easier to read looking up. I was watching part of last week's, and I kept looking down. So I lowered my chair, so I have to look up at the screen. And part of the reason I was looking down was because bifocals. Anyway, we noticed on our trim notice, our Save Our Homes portability exemption amount went down this time compared to last year. How can you lose a portion of your Save Our Homes from the year before? Good question. I'll talk about that because I saw it too. Interesting. Mike B says, very interesting in your planned topic. This will be our first time dealing with Florida taxes and just got our trim notice. Yeah, I knew it was coming out. Somebody asked about it last week, and I'd been watching it all week, and I saw it pop up earlier this week on the county property appraisers website, the new trim notices, and so I knew they were coming out in the mail. TRIM stands for Truth in Millage. So, you know what? Let's go ahead and get started on that. I got to find the right screen here. Where is it at? There it is. Here we go. And hopefully we still have sound. We do. All right. So, let me pull this over here. So your trim notice, trim is truth in millage, okay? It's a statement that shows you what your millage rates are going to be and what your taxes are going to be or could be coming up for next year. It shows also what's known as the rollback rate and the proposed property tax rates or millage rates by the various entities that have the authority to levy these taxes. So rollback rate, what a rollback rate is, it's a new term for many people coming here to Florida. Basically, if your house is worth $100,000, okay, and you're at a specific, let's call it 5 millage points. So that's what, $50 or no, $500, I think. Yeah, $500 in taxes. No, anyway. So let's say it's $500 for a $100,000 home. Well, your house increases in value, goes up a certain percentage. Well, they lower the millage rate. That lower millage rate is so that the amount you pay year over year remains constant. or relatively constant. There's going to be a little bit of fluctuation. Everybody's home is different, so they look at the overall community or the overall county or whatever the taxing area might be, and the rollback rate can be a different percentage of the initial millage rate, just depending on where the tax rolls are. Most counties, Sumter County, with the exception of, I want to say it was 2018 or 2019, for the last 15 years has maintained the property tax at the rollback rate. The problem with the rollback rate is the revenues don't increase, but the cost continues. So eventually you come up to a hard ceiling and you're going to have to raise the millage rate. Yes, we have new homes and new businesses coming to the community, but there's also new services having to be provided. So typically in the villages, let's say Sumter County period, 4,000 new homes, 4,500 new homes, whatever it is. So that's new money into the tax rolls. But we have to continue to add services. We're building a new service center. We're adding 10 deputies to the sheriff's department. So there's more and more cost associated with adding more people. So it's a balancing act. Eventually, though, again, you hit this hard ceiling, and you have to go beyond what's known as the rollback rate. All right. Come on. All right. It shows ad valorem property taxes. These are taxes based on the property value. Okay. They're taxes. Okay. Call it what you want. We can talk about the whole property tax issue that's going on in the state, but let's just stick on this as much as we can. So there are fees that we get assessed based on the value of our property, as well as non-ad valorem fees. These are fixed values, and they're not they're not based on the value of the home. Something like that might be your maintenance assessment from the villages. It also shows you your exemptions and reductions that apply. And this goes back to Happy-Go-Lucky's Save Our Homes question. And we're going to get into that because that's an important aspect. And I'll give you a good example of how it can make a significant difference. Okay? This is not your property tax bill. You're going to get that towards the end of October. After all the county commission has to approve a property tax rate, the CDD boards have to approve their maintenance assessment rates, the school board has to approve its rates, all the different entities, and those all have to be done by the end of the month of September so that the property appraiser or the tax collector can get the tax bill out. And Randy Mask, who's our county tax collector, he's got a tough job because there's so many variables that go on with property taxes. Okay. Again, there are multiple entities that have an input into the rates assessed. So let's see. So this is a typical village's home, and so you've got the taxing authority who's levying the tax, and then we have the prior year, in this case 2024's taxable value. Okay, and you'll see that it varies, and we'll talk about that. There's the mouse. Okay, so this is 217, 230, but down here it's $25,000 higher, 242, 230. Why the difference? Because the homestead exemptions for the I'll get it out in a second, for the county property assessment and for SwiftMud is you're able to go to $50,000 or more, but school for the schools, it only goes 25,000. Next column over shows you the millage rate for that year, or for last year, and the amount of property tax that is being collected for the county, for the schools, for municipalities, if you happen to live in one of the municipalities like Wildwood, Southwest Florida Water Management District, and the fire district. We'll get to the fire district in just a minute. So that's the first three. Those first three columns are last year's numbers. Okay. The next column is this year's assessed value. Okay. We'll get to why some things changed as far as property value went down, but the assessed value went up. Okay. So in this case, it went from 217 to 224, 258. The rollback rate is shown in the next column, column 5. So that's what it would be to keep the tax value about the same. And then you can see the column 6 taxes are, I just touched my coffee cup warmer and it was warm. And you can see that the numbers are pretty close. And then column 7 is the proposed values that are have been put out by the boards. So in the case of Sumter County, the majority of the board wanted to go with the last year's rate, which technically is a tax increase. As you can see, it goes up about $30 on this house. It goes from 1062 to 1096. Okay, so a little bit of increase, about 5%. We have the same thing occurs for the school boards, whether the ones that's assessed by the state or by the local school board. If you live in Wildwood, you're going to have a Wildwood city tax. The Swift Mud is the Southwest Florida Water Management District. There's 6 or 7 water management districts in the state, and they are the ones that keep track of things like drainage and water tables and things like that. And then, of course, new this year will be the fire assessment based on property value. And we'll get to that in just a minute. As you can see here, this is in the villages. For this $224,000, that is a $10.41 tax. So, that's not a very big increase. Unfortunately, in Sumter County, that number is significantly larger. We can talk about that in a minute. All right. So did I cover everything? And then, of course, at the bottom, it shows you what last year's taxes were and what this year's taxes are going to be. The column 7 and 8 numbers are based on what has been proposed, but it's not been finalized yet. So that will get finalized late in September generally. And whatever the board agrees to, that's whether it be the school board, the Water Management District Board, the Village Center, VPSDDD, whatever it is, the Dependent District, they'll set that. All right. Let's see. What do we got here? We got a couple of comments coming in here. All right, oh boy, a whole bunch came through. So luckily my screen shows more than your screen does. Save our homes, we'll get to that in just a minute. So Mike B says, we built a designer home in Water's Edge. How does our final sales price impact addressed and market values? I wish I knew the full answer on that. I know that your sales price is not the full value. it's only like 80%. Your tax is only based on about 80% of that. And even that number can be less depending on your exemptions and on your deductions. So we'll get to that. Happy Go Lucky says, how come the annual maintenance fee can be a different amount between homes within the same district? Our maintenance fee is about $200 more than a nearby house because it's in a different subdivision. Happy Go Lucky, we could explain it, but we're going to try and stay on this today, right now. But if you go to my YouTube page, there is a series of videos on the different fees. And I go through in detail how the maintenance assessment, the bonds, and the amenity fees are all determined. Take a look at the one on the maintenance assessment. Basically, it's based on an acreage calculation. Let's see. Muskie says, my total essential services fee, inaccurately named property tax, for my Finney Courtyard Villa will only increase by about $65. Can't even buy a dinner for my mom for that amount. Yes, she made a comment like that the other day too. Orange Mini Cooper asks, when adding items to a new home, like a cement or tiled landscape border around the home, when do we need prior approval? Anytime you do anything that affects the exterior of your home, you should take and submit an ARC application. It doesn't actually go to an ARC board right now. If you're down in CDD 15, it's going to the developer's rep, and they serve as the sole entity in control of that. And they generally are on the lenient side and very easygoing. All right. Thank you, Muskie. We have a very, very frugal and wise county commissioners. Yes, I believe so. For all the doom and gloom in the sky, yeah, so she's saying it's not that big of an increase. I agree. Why do villages pay school taxes when we can't have kids in schools? Well, you can't have kids in the schools because kids aren't allowed to live in the community over 30 days if they're under 19 years of age. And everybody pays school taxes. That's just the way it's, I hate to say it, golly, I hate saying it. It's always been that way, and I doubt it will ever change. I've heard some people say, well, they need to exempt senior citizens, people over 65, from paying school taxes. The schools would go broke. The schools would go broke in Sumter County because the villages represents about 80% of the tax base. Okay, let's go to the next page. This is actually at the bottom of the second page of your trim notice, and you'll see there's a couple of items here. The very bottom one is the maintenance assessment. That varies by the unit number in each CDD. So whatever unit you're in, everybody pays the same maintenance assessment. And all that gets calculated based on the number of acres in that unit divided by the number of homes and the cost per acre for the maintenance, and the same thing with the same calculation is used for the bond. The bond assessment, if you haven't paid off your bond, then you'll see that in there. And the bond's amount varies. This is an older home that's about 11 years old. Bonds back then were lower. They're higher now. They're the highest they've ever been. And happy go lucky. I'll get to it in just a few minutes when we get to the next section of this. But the bonds are just going to get higher. Why? Because the cost of everything goes higher. I mean, think about, you bought a car 10 years ago. How expensive was it? I will tell you, cars have gotten real expensive. All right. So that's the bottom two. The next two in the villages, they use two different calculations to determine the non-ad valorem fire assessment. I don't remember all the details about readiness and demand, but basically it's different. Everybody pays the $239, and then depending on if you're a business or you're a what do you call it, healthcare facility, or you're a senior living facility or whatever, then that number varies also. But between the two, it's about $320. So $320 plus another, in this case, $10 and change for this house, for really some of the best ambulance service, some of the best ambulance and transport services that you're going to find in the state, both in the county and in the village's fire departments. This is what the village's residents asked for. This is what the county residents asked for. I hate to say it, but you asked for it. Now you got to pay it. If you think somebody else is going to pay for it, that somebody was staring you back in the window, in the mirror. Okay. So that's the non-ad valorem section. Now, this is really an important page that if you are a Florida resident, it really, really pays for you to pay attention to this, especially if you have a house and then sold it and you move into another house in Florida, because there's a thing called the Save Our Homes Act. About, 25, 30 years ago in Florida, housing prices were going crazy just like they are these days. And what was happening was people were getting, the property values were going up and up and up, okay? And lo and behold, they were getting priced out of their houses. So they introduced the Save Our Homes Act, and they said you can't raise the assessed value more than 3%, okay? That was, so saving your homes. And what happens is, you see on the screen, it says, Save Our Homes Benefit. So this is really how much the assessed value has increased over the life of this house, and since it was purchased, minus the 3% a year. Okay, so it went up 3% a year. Now, if your house value only goes up 1%, then if you have any of this savings, it's still going to go up 3%. But if you're sitting at 0 the first year and it only goes up 1%, it's only, your property tax will only go up 1% because of the value. And in this case, you can see this individual lost about $21,000 in market value. Okay, actually, it was about $24,000. Okay, if you look at market value, right here, last year it was $387, now it's $373. But the assessed value still went up, even though the market value went down. The reason for that is because of this Save Our Home savings. Okay, once you get that savings, then it can go up until you run out of that savings, I guess. But if your property value goes up more than that, the savings increases year over year. So next year if they go up, his prior year would be $98,270, and the current year value might be, $125, whatever. It depends on how much the property went up in value. Very important aspect of it. Now, you see non-homestead 10% benefit cap. Save Our Homes is for Florida residents. So if you're a Florida resident, it definitely, keep track of this. You want to make sure you file your homestead exemption, because then you get this 3% cap. If you're not a Florida resident, let's say you're New York, Connecticut, Wisconsin, wherever you're from, but you still own a house here, it can only go up 10% a year. Agriculture, that's whole different aspect. Oh yeah, and the non-homestead is only on, it doesn't impact schools. So you might have $100,000 savings on your county property tax, but on the schools you get nothing. The schools are going to take you to the cleaners. So the the portability amount, good question, Gary, is in this case $98,270. Okay, so if this individual were to sell their house today, he's got $98,000 in tax savings. Let's say he sells his house today, buys a house tomorrow, and takes this savings with him. Okay, the house may have cost $400,000 with an assessed value of, let's say, $350,000. Well, minus 98. So now the assessed value is not $350,000, it's $252,000. And then he's got a homestead exemption of another, almost $51,000. That's going to come off of it. Then that's what he pays taxes on. So Save Our Homes is incredibly important, especially if you're a resident here in the state of Florida. For me, when I moved to the Villages, I brought $80,000 worth of portability with me. I had the second most expensive house in my Courtyard Villa community, and I had one of the lowest property taxes because of that portability that I brought with me. So it's a very, very, it's a big savings. And all right, let's see. Make sure we got everything. Victoria wants to know what appliances come in a new built veranda: stove, microwave, refrigerator, and dishwasher. Just to clarify, the bond on your home won't go up. That remains the same for the life of the bond, but the bonds on the new buildings will increase because cost built. Yes, correct. Your bond actually may go down. After 10 years, the CDDs can, refinance the bond. Okay. That's not the correct term. Reissue the bond, and if they do, then that bond amount will go down if you haven't paid off your bond, because they're lowering the interest rate that they're paying to the investors that own the bond. How are maintenance fees calculated? Eb, again, that's in one of my other videos. When we get done with this, I'll jump over to that and I'll show you that. Let's see. I noticed that cottage villas have fencing also. Do they ever build them in a concrete style or just wood/siding? I've only seen the sided on the cottage homes. Cottage homes and patio villas are always sided. We talked about, yes, the portability does show on the trim notice. Can you pay off your bond at any time? You can pay it off, okay? But when you pay it off, there's two time frames. It's like July, the 1st of July. If you pay it off before then it doesn't show up on the next year's assessment. If you pay it off after, it still shows up, but it's not like paying off a credit card or paying off a mortgage where things stop. It's very structured, and that's because it's not a loan, okay? It's an investment bond, so we have to make sure we account for it properly and take care of our investors. Whew. All right, we're gonna go one more page and then we're gonna take a break. All right, so now this is a new home, okay, here in the Villages. Nope, I'm sorry. Yes, this is a new, I got to get my head straight here. Yeah, this is the same, that's the same home, okay? Oh, because I hit the wrong button on my mouse. All right. Whoops. Did I paste this in the wrong thing here? Looks like I did. I pasted the wrong screen. Okay, so this one, okay, I got it now. Sorry. This one is a new home, a home that was built last year in 2024. And the first year your home is built, or in the year that your home is built, the assessments are done in January. And that assessment then on a new home is based on the undeveloped property. So in this case, it shows $118,000. But then it shows the current value for now as $218,000. It went up $100,000. Okay, this one, I'll show you why it only went up to that much. You can see it's $244,000 for the schools. This one also has the Wildwood property taxes in it. Okay, now why did it go to $218,000? Because this individual had $191,890 in portability. Okay, so you can see the current value of the house went from the undeveloped property of $118,000 to $461,000, but the taxable value, okay, went down, or is significantly less because of this Save Our Homes and portability. This, ladies and gentlemen, is why you want to pay attention to that. If you decide to buy a new house, this can save you a ton of money. Okay? You'll see a homestead. Now, if you're single, you're only going to get one of these, $25,000. If you're a married couple, you would get both of them. And the second one is now, adjusted by the CPI because of latest change by the Florida legislature. All right. So we're going to talk about the fire assessment, but we're going to answer happy-go-lucky. Okay. Okay. So I got to see who wrote that here. I can't see the colors on this. Dreamcatcher says, so in your example, Save Our Homes went down. So what would be the reason? The reason the Save Our Homes went down is because the value of the property decreased. Okay? The value of the property decreased, and there was an increase in the taxable value of 3%. So if the house stayed the same, okay, and let's say they had $200,000 worth of Save Our Homes savings, well, and the value stayed the same year over year, there's going to be a 3% increase because they've captured this savings. Well, now they got to slowly give it back if their house doesn't continue to increase. It's a fair compromise, I think. So what is your happy-go-lucky? Happy-go-lucky wants to know, what is your best estimate as to when they will fully open up Eastport Drive in Eastport? It's looking better every day. It's going to be a couple of months, I think. There's still a lot of work going on there. They want to get it so where it's safe. Otherwise, you're going to be walking through a construction area. You don't want to do that. But they'll open it up when things are like they are in Middleton. All right. Excuse me. So let's take a quick break, and I'll be right back.
You know what I love about humans? They see every part of us, the messy fur, the slobber, and still smile like we're perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we see their flaws too, but we never stop loving them unconditionally for who they are.
They are always running late.
Yeah.
Saying just 5 more minutes like 100 times.
Facts. But I would wait forever for them. They break down sometimes when the world is too heavy.
Yeah. And we just stay by their side. Always.
They reach for us. They are really saying, I need you.
Mm-hmm.
And when we lean in, we are saying, we will never leave you.
They always drop food when I'm around. No way that's an accident.
Yeah, I think it's just their way of saying I love you.
Even after the hardest days, they still come home to us and find a smile. Because we are their reason to, Goldie.
Even when they are tired, they still open Dog Pack to find me somewhere new.
Yeah, because they know we get bored at the same spot. That is love, too.
Our humans are far from perfect, Frenchie.
And I would not change a single thing about them, Goldie.
Oh, sorry, caught me pouring coffee. All right. Let's see. Whew. All right, we are back. Let's see what came in for comments here. Oh boy, whole bunch are coming in. Let's see. Support. My Save Our Home numbers are both 0. What does that mean on school? Are you a Florida resident? Okay. And if you are, have you filed for your homestead exemption? You got to file for your homestead exemption with the county property appraiser in order to get that Save Our Homes savings. That's one reason. If the house value didn't go up from last year, then that could be, I mean, if you bought your house in December and they appraised it in January, it probably didn't go up. So you probably wouldn't see the Save Our Homes Save Our Homes number increase. But it excuse me. There could be a number of reasons. If you want to give me a call after the show, we can look at your numbers and we can talk about it and figure out exactly what happened. All right. So let's get back to our discussion here. I got to figure out where the heck it is. There's there. All right. So the fire assessment. So let's take a look at the differences here. So this is the village's fire assessment again, and then this is the county fire assessment. This is the fixed dollar amount. It's $355.58 in the county, and that's what's proposed. And in the villages, for residential, it's whatever this works out to be. I don't know. What is that? $320.71. Okay, and that's for residential property. Now, that's the fixed amount. The ad valorem amount, again, this is the villages. This is the same house we looked at, about $10 on a $200,000 home. Look at the millage rate right here, 0.0464. Okay, so less than 0.5% of a millage point. This is Sumter County. This is a $120,000 home, $100,000 less expensive, but because of the millage rate of 0.8571, their ad valorem assessment is $100. It's basically almost 20 times as much. And again, that jives with the millage rates. Why the big difference? We have two similar sized fire departments. The bulk of the taxable properties, 80% of taxable properties, however, are in the village's fire district. So they have to carry, each homeowner has to carry a heavier burden. The pie is sliced a lot bigger for everybody out in the county than it is in the villages. So they've got a bigger number to carry. It's a challenge, but once again, overwhelmingly, the sentiment was a few years ago when the whole thing with the ambulance service was, we need better ambulance services, we'll want better ambulance services, we don't care what the price is. Okay, it's unfortunate. Are we using the right calculations? I don't know that yet. But the county is going back to the well again and getting it reevaluated for next year. And we'll see what happens. Again, that won't affect people in the villages. That only affects people in the Sumter County fire district. All right, some final thoughts. Discounts. You get a 4% discount if you pay your property tax assessment early. Okay, when I say early, I think it's within the first 60 days of getting your notice. After that, that continues to decrease, the discount decreases until I think March, where you're paying the full amount. 4% isn't much, but hey, $100 is, well, yeah, it might be, I was going to say it might be going out to eat with your spouse, but who knows. Angel Eyes wants to know any time frame when they will be open in LaGrange. I don't, yeah, I still think it's going to be probably at least another month or two before LaGrange happens. They've got a lot of spec homes, veranda homes, courtyard villas, and patio villas they're building. So those are going to come out, and generally they'll release verandas or courtyard villas, and they won't release lots. So it goes back and forth. And I haven't seen any work going on yet in LaGrange, but soon, definitely before the end of the year. Let's see. So on fire assessments, we talked about that. Your homestead exemption, again, be sure you file for your homestead exemption if you're eligible for it. If you have homesteaded here in the state of Florida, it is worth, yeah, I mean, if all you get is the homestead exemption for you and your spouse, that's $50,000, almost $51,000 off of your property tax assessment. Hey, that adds up over the years. Take whatever advantage you can get. Let's see. Save Our Homes Act. When you move, okay, make sure you're looking at this. And when you buy, if you're buying a new house in Florida, it doesn't have to be in the Villages. It can be anywhere. I moved from Haines City, Florida, which is down by Legoland in Winter Haven, to here in the Villages 11 years ago, and I brought with me $80,000 worth of portability, and it definitely helped, as I talked about earlier. So keep a close eye on that. What do property taxes pay for? So as Mushke pointed out, it's essential services. Essential services are things like the sheriff's department and our ambulance services, things like that. Many of those are mandated services and programs from the state and federal government. Some of them are funded, some of them are partially funded, some of them are unfunded mandates. But we have no choice, we have to fund them. About 80% of our county property taxes, okay, or county property, our county budget goes to these mandates. So we have very little discretionary spending. Sometimes we'll get grants, but it's like, okay, we're going to give you $50,000 for this, but you have to match it 2 to 1. So in order to get to $50,000, we got to spend $100,000. Sometimes it's worth taking the money, sometimes it's not. It just depends on what it is. What else do we have here? It also goes for infrastructure maintenance, roads and things like that. That's at the county level. That's for the unincorporated part of Sumter County. Our regional roads, the major roads throughout the county, whether they're in Wildwood or unincorporated Sumter County or Bushnell or wherever, those are also taken care of by our county property taxes. If you live in the Wildwood section of the Villages, your local roads, your residential roads, are paid for through your Wildwood city taxes. What else? Oh, hey, picked this up today. I got a call Friday saying it would be here. They said Monday, and then I got a call last night. So I was hurrying around picking up, putting together all the stuff for the show and getting it ready, because I spent a good part of my morning and afternoon down picking up my new truck. And that's me standing beside it at the Ford dealer. Beautiful truck. It's a burned myself again. It's a Ford F-250 Platinum Trimmer Edition. So it's a serious off-road vehicle, and Gold Wingnut Productions and Gold Wingnut Media are about to be joined by a third group called Gold Wingnut Tours. And we'll talk more about that when I roll it out, hopefully within the week. All right, let's go back. Victoria, thank you for the donation. She says, love all the doggy commercials, adorable. Thanks for all your hard work answering everybody's questions. Thank you. Did you live near Southern Dunes in Haines City? I lived near there, but I was south of the downtown area. Boy, Southern, it's been, my gosh, 11 years since we moved there. Random user says, Long Island, New York, taxes of $9,800, and every road is a mess, and the fees for permits are extremely high. Yep. Thank you, Mushki. Mike B says, does anyone know if you can claim a homestead exemption if you live abroad but only own one home in Florida? Man, that I can't answer that one. I don't know. It's hard to say. Let's see. Nice truck. Thank you. Congratulations. Jay Cozy says, do they charge for parking at the high school football games? Do you drive your vehicle or golf cart to the game? So I parked at the house because I knew it was going to be a big game, and I was right. I took the golf cart to the game. There is no charge for parking. There is fortunately plenty of parking, and as things progress, you know, for example, when the new hotel opens up, there'll be even more parking available. But there's quite a bit of parking, and they don't charge for it. Tickets are, what was it, $8. $8 for a ticket to the game. Beautiful stadium, big jumbotron, and the kids play with all their heart. They're out there just doing everything they can. Jeff says, woohoo, on your truck. I'm going crazy trying to buy a car. Trust me. Tomorrow would have been 6 months since I ordered that truck, and that was the third one that was delivered. And it was crazy. But my good friend Marilyn and her husband Martin, they helped me out with what's called X-Plan. X-Plan is the supplier rates for the truck, so I saved some money that way. Very happy with it. I've driven it a whole maybe 25 miles, but it's a beautiful truck. Does it fit in your garage? I don't know. It's probably not because of its length. I think it's close to 20 feet long, which there wouldn't be much way to, especially with the junk in my garage. So I'm going to say no. Gregor says, correction on the homestead exemption. First and additional are related to how the laws are passed, not whether you're single or married. Yeah, but you only get one of them if you're filing single. And it has to do also with the dollar amount of the house. I think if the house is under $100,000, you only get one of them. So you get it on the first $50,000, and it's crazy. I'm single, and you get both. Okay, that's interesting. Learn something new every day. I will go look into that because that is kind of an important aspect. Beautiful truck. Park at the house. Park it in the wife's car at the apartment parking lot. Yeah. I'll probably park it at the apartment all the time. Anyway, any new on potential grocery store in Eastport? Have not heard anything lately on Eastport's grocery store. All I know is supposedly there is one coming. Here we go. My mom and I are on the deed. We get the full exemption. Okay, let's see. Taxes are higher in New York. Teachers, police, and firefighters are paid much higher than Florida. Yeah, I mean, that can be summed up in pretty much one word: unions. Yeah, and you can see the financial trouble New York is having with all their exorbitant salaries. I don't think our police officers, I don't think our firefighters, and I don't think our teachers are overpaid. I think they are all underpaid. But there is a fine balance, and it's tough. Greg Davis says, if anonymous complaints are eliminated, what's to stop someone from saying, I'll make a complaint in my name for anyone and keep you anonymous? Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. And you know, there are ways to skirt the anonymous, if we eliminate anonymous complaints, there are ways to skirt it. Oh, excuse me. Love my coffee. Let's see. We got a new one in here from Megan. It says, do you know, with the housing market constantly changing, do you know if the lot lottery is still as competitive as it has been the last 6 months? Yeah, it's competitive. It's still very competitive. I signed on 2 new customers this week, and we were talking about how much they were, how competitive they were, and it is. I think they said that they were first, but I think they said there was like 60 people that also bid on the house. It's very competitive, especially if you get a really nice lot. If it's this gorgeous golf course, water view, good luck. I mean, seriously. Yeah, it's not going to change. The properties are still in very high demand. What's changed really is the number of houses on the market, especially in the resales, because, like I said before, if you assume, let's just say 1% of the homes are on the market as resales, 10 years ago, that would have been 500 homes. Now, here we are 10 years later, it's 750 homes. Is the influx of people changing? Not significantly. So that kind of has an impact. And people still want new homes. They want to build their dream home. One of the nice things is that if you want to build your dream home but you're not caring about the lot, then you can get some really good deals. Let me see if I can bring this up. We'll go to the web browser. So, come on. All right. So this is the area here in, zoom in some more, in Edenfield. Doggone Apple mouses drive me nuts. I'm going to put the Apple mouse down and grab the Windows mouse. You can see that many of the interior lots, $0 lot premium, a bigger lot on a corner, $9,000. Some have $5,000. Why $5,000? Probably because they've got a privacy wall or something like that. Here's a big one for $9,000, $10,000. So you can get some really nice lots, and you can still build, if you will, your dream home. I mean, look at this one right here. You can see where the mouse is. That's a big lot. Another big one here. Several big ones. They normally go pretty quickly. Some of those, like this one right here at the corner of Edenfield Run and Grundy Way, probably big enough to put a swimming pool, and that's on an interior lot. All the golf course lots went extremely fast. From about here over, they haven't sold. But I mean, talking about big interior lot, there you go, right there. Look at this one right here. I don't know that it's listed or not. I'd have to go look at some paperwork that I got from one of my customers. All right. Let's go back. All right. Random user says, can you ever challenge your taxes? Yes, you can. There is what's called the Value Assessment Board. That's one of the first things I got involved with as a county commissioner. I volunteered for the Value Assessment Board, and you can challenge your property taxes. We see a couple every year. If it goes to the property appraiser, they do another reassessment. If you're happy with it, then that's the end of it. If you're not, then it goes to the board, and the board is made up of 2 county commissioners and somebody from the school board. I think Sally Moss is on it, Jeff Bogue, Todd Kuhn, and normally I think there's 2 other residents also on it. So it's a fairly easy process, and there's a small fee for challenging your taxes. But yes, you can. Most of the time they wanted it to go down. When I was on the board, we actually had one that challenged it and wanted it to go up. And, you know, we figured out, oh yeah, they're getting ready to sell their property, so they want it to look more valuable. I get it, okay. Whew, all righty. Questions. Nobody's got any more. We only had 130 people on today. A little low. I guess everybody's out enjoying the nice weather. Although it was raining earlier. When I went to go pick up the truck, it started raining. But it is what it is. All righty. Let's see. All right, we got another one coming. You guys are going to love this one. Happy Go Lucky says, why do people sign a form agreeing to obey the deed restrictions and then complain about getting reported for breaking the deed restriction rules? I don't know. East Coaster says, what can we do to get more ads on the screen? You know, most of the screen is my ugly mug. These vendors, they help make this possible. You know, if I have to go by the YouTube revenue, I'm going to make about $15 for doing this. It doesn't cover the cost of the electricity hardly to put this on, because I got a lot of equipment running. Anyway, let's see. Here we go. Where can you find the dimensions of the lots? So, Joe, that's an interesting question. You can go to the property appraiser's website and look at that. Let's see. Let's go over to the property appraiser's website. And Sumter Supervisor of Elections, property appraiser, search. And we're going to do a map search. Okay. Whoops, wrong way. Let me zoom in. All right, we're getting there. Not all the lots are laid out yet. Let's take one up here. All right, so we grabbed one. Let me find it. Someplace on here. Anyway, I'm not going to dwell on this one, but someplace on there's one of the things you can click on, and it will show you of course, you dummy Don. Let's try that again. All right. So again, property appraiser, search records. We're going to do a map search. Okay, and you zoom in, and let's see. Click on report, and someplace along here, I mean, it tells you the square footage, 6,600 square feet on this particular house or this particular lot. Anyway, again, someplace on here, it shows you the lot dimensions. If not there, then you can always go to the Southwest Florida Water Management District and find the unit that's being built, and you have to look carefully on the plans, but you'll see the dimensions on the lots. Let's see. Okay, back up here. I'm losing my spot here. Trevor wants to know, do you know if the lifestyle homes are available to stay in during the week of your closing? I don't know. You would have to talk to the folks there at the Lifestyle Preview Center. I don't know that answer. Thank you for all you do. Thank you, random user. Greg R says, I heard a rumor, Harry and the natives may have already soft opened. I was by there several times this past week, and they are if they're not open yet, they're getting ready to open. I saw a Facebook post where they did some staff training and serving selected guests. So yeah, I think it's going to be very shortly. Jay Cozy says, do you have a recommendation for a company for a whole house water filtration system? Can you provide an estimated cost? So sure, Nova water filters. It's about $750 for them to install a water filtration system, and it's 3 sequential filters. And I just changed mine out. It cost me $130 to change all 3 filters out. And I'll probably do it instead of waiting a year. I'll do it every 6 months because they were not pretty. Still trying to figure out lot dimensions in LaGrange. Went to water sites but couldn't figure it out. Oh, went to the, yeah. I didn't say it was easy. I mean, I've been looking at it for a while. So thanks, East Coaster. I appreciate the input. We'll leave it at that. Monday is soft opening. I know someone that works there. Okay, great. So, any more questions? Whew, we are at a little after 4. All right. Who is your ISP in your new home? That's from Eb. So in my apartment, it's I think it's Spectrum, and the bandwidth is miserable. It's lousy. I think it's 30 up and 100 down or something like that. At the house, it's Centric. Yeah, I think it's Centric, and it's a gigabit up and a gigabit down. So it's very good. Let's see. Random user says, I feel a lot of people are going to complain as Eastport opens and all the outside vendors flood in. Oh, all the outside visitors flood in. Well, okay, but remember, if you want to know why a business can't survive just on Village's residents, all you got to do is look at Katie Bell's. They went out of business because they couldn't make money selling air conditioning and ice water. I've said it many times. Yes, Jeff, Centric. Thank you. Centric is the ISP that we're using. Are they outsiders? Do they live in Middleton? I don't consider those outsiders. That's just another part of the community. It's not the age-restricted part of the community, but it's still a part of our community. And you can go over there, and I've met a lot of really great people over in there. Quantum Fibers, yep, they're also available. So anyway, I told my wife I was going to take her out tonight for dinner, so I need to make good on that promise, and we will. We're gonna, excuse me, we're gonna call it a day, and let's see, I gotta find it. All right. Any more questions before we go? All right. So, if not, we'll see you all next week. I hope you have a great day and a great week. Enjoy the sunshine when we can get it, because we've been getting a lot of rain. But that's Florida. We are in our rainy season now. Other sections of the country are in their dry season. We'll hit the dry season come February, March. And that's when we got to start worrying about fires. Make out in the new truck. Okay. Never mind. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day. Thanks for watching today's broadcast of Gold Wingnut Live. These weekly broadcasts and the construction update videos are two of the ways I bring information to you about the construction happening here in the villages. At Gold Wingnut Productions, I also provide a photo-video service for new homes under construction. If you're building a new home in the villages and you need someone to watch the construction for you and send you regular updates, then contact me through my website, goldwingnut.com, and arrange for a photo-video package of your new home. I've nearly 20 years in the construction industry as a project manager, and in the last 6 years, Gold Wingnut Productions has provided this valuable service to over 300 homeowners. I know the work the various trades are doing, and I know when the work is being done right and when it's not. I'm not just taking pictures like some do. I'm watching your new home build with a trained eye to help ensure everything is done right. So go to goldwingnut.com and arrange for your package today, and I'll see you next week right here at Gold Wingnut Live.